Hey, how are you guys? It is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. Now, in this video, I'm going to be covering 3 super common mistakes that are costing you the deal. And even if you're not in a sales call, you're just speaking to somebody about what you do and how you do it. If you bring up any of these points, I promise you, you're going to lose even the potential of a deal or worse, a referral. I also have a bonus tip, but we're going to be covering those 3 right after this. Before I get into it, I do want to include that I do have a masterclass down below. It is getting revamped. Also, I have some incredible videos. I've been working super hard on the back end, putting together resources that you can download and use, such as a checklist. I also have some sales sheets that are going to be coming out in the very near future. So if you haven't already, hit that like button and that subscribe button so you don't miss out on knowing when those are available, because they are going to massively help your MSP. Now, let's get into the video. So the first thing is focusing solely on your technical aspects. We know that you are a tech pro. That's probably why you're watching these videos, because you're struggling with sales. You're not struggling with the technical part of it. You probably already know that. You know what RMM to use, what solutions to use, how to integrate everything, how to make it all just chef's kiss, work the way it should, which is fantastic. And you should do that. But here's the problem. A lot of technical people get too caught up in the technical aspect of IT. They think that, oh, you only have one Xenon processor, you need to have 2, or you need to have 128 gigs of RAM on your server, or, this isn't a 48 port switch, or it's not a managed switch. And while all of this makes sense to you and I, this doesn't make sense to the client. You are speaking gibberish to them. Imagine going to the grocery store and looking at the back of a highly processed food. And I'm just going to use my vitamins as an example here, because I do take turmeric. And going through and reading all those ingredients, you're like, what's xanthan gum? What is maltodextrin? All of these super weird words. And you're like, I need a degree to know what they're even talking about. And it's the same thing in our industry. We know way too much. So an easy way to avoid getting too technical and talking about how, a better switch is going to give you more throughput and gigabit connections and all those sexy buzzwords that we all love, focus on providing the value that tech provides and the value that your MSP actually can provide to that customer, right? I've spoken a lot about selling on the value of your services versus the price of your services. But now just change out the word price for hardware or for software or for anything that you're buying or building yourself that a customer might not fully understand. And when you take that out and say, oh, well, we actually use the cloud, but we only use the cloud because it makes life for us a lot easier, but also allows for you to connect at your home, at your office, when you're at Starbucks, and God forbid you forget your computer, you can still access everything. And when you say it like that, the customer immediately understands, like, oh my God, I could work anywhere at any time. Now, that's pretty commonplace for today's day and age, but sometimes they might have a NAS or a in-house server. There's so many different aspects of what we do, and the customers really don't understand the technical side of it. And when you get too technical, I've seen this happen a lot in sales where, you get an eager sales guy who just came over from the tech side and they know everything. But what they fail to do is communicate effectively to the customer of the value that it's provided. The customer doesn't need to know that a car has 4 cylinders, and it has a 2.0 liter engine. Like, they don't know what that is. It's great on gas, and it's going to get you from point A to point B in a fuel efficient manner and safely. That's what they want to. That's what they care about. Watch car commercials. Watch how little they actually spend and what brands spend more time on the engine or the real specifics versus the value features. They've mastered it in that aspect. Number 2 is lack of transparency and over-promising. This is huge. I have stolen so many deals from competitors purely because they over-promised and under-delivered. And here's the problem with that. If you go to a restaurant and you have a really bad meal, you tell everyone about your bad meal. But what's worse for that restaurant is not only that you're telling a lot of people that you had a bad meal, but you also don't ever want to go back. Your experience was so poor that you're like, I don't want to go back. And you might try it one more time down the road, but unfortunately in the MSP world, that doesn't happen. You get one chance. It is so rare that you could go back to lost opportunities and bring them back. That's just the nature of the beast. So if you want to have a great relationship with a client and set that first meal expectation of, this is great, they've gone above and beyond, they haven't overpromised or underdelivered, the easy way to avoid that is be transparent. Our company is really good at XYZ. We understand that you do ABC as well as XYZ. And I'm not saying that we're not going to learn it, because we are. We're going to learn it and we're going to figure out how to be as proficient as possible. But whatever you're doing, maybe it's probably software related, we need a little bit more ramp up time to know it like the back of our hand, or to make connections over at XYZ company, so that way we can deliver the best service possible. Stop saying that your onboarding is going to be 2 weeks to a month if your onboarding realistically takes 60 or 90 days. It's okay that it takes longer. The client doesn't care that it takes a long time. They just want to know what they're actually getting. And that's going to be the real difference. By you just showing your hand and showing your cards, clients immediately think that you're more trustworthy because you're being vulnerable. And that client, more than likely at that conversation, has been vulnerable themselves. They've showed you their network closet. They've showed you their servers if they're applicable. They've showed you their office. They've taken you to areas of the office that some people have never been that work there. They have shown you their personal computers, their offices. They have opened up a very vulnerable part of their life. You have to treat it with the same respect. So be a little vulnerable, be transparent, and effectively communicate. We're going to have you onboarded. We're going to start the onboarding process in the next 2 weeks. After we start the onboarding process, we're going to go through a little bit of a rough spot. I know it sounds crazy, but we do need between 30 and 60 days to really dial in everything. And then after that, you're going to have a fantastic experience. And my next video, by the way, or possibly the video after the next one, is going to be onboarding. I'm waiting for my designer to send me back my onboarding checklist. It's going to be banger. But be transparent. It's so common. One time, it took me one major loss, overpromised, and my team underdelivered. Because of my overpromising, client was gone in a week. They were like, just refund me my money. I don't want to deal with it. You said it was going to be here. I haven't seen anybody here. Couldn't get anybody out. We were just super slammed at that time. And I made that mistake one time. I'm being vulnerable. I'm telling you my mistakes. It's okay. Just be clear, transparent, and don't hide information from clients, and they're going to be infinitely happier with you. And when they talk to their friends about it, they'll be like, yeah, it does take them a little while to like get everything dialed in, but honestly, ever since onboarding, everything's been perfect. I don't know what they did during the onboarding process, but things have been phenomenal otherwise for us. So while, yeah, the onboarding might not be as quick as you want it to be, that's okay. They're going to knock it out of the park because they're killing it for me and my team and my company. That's how you change that overpromising and underdelivering problem every single time. And number 3 is neglecting the importance of relationship building. In the MSP world, while yes, you might be a salesperson and you want that deal, you have to think of your customers as part of your friend group. Yes, you might not call them on a Saturday night or a Friday night, but you're probably going to be talking to these people multiple times per week, especially people in their company. Theoretically, you are providing tech support. They should be calling in saying, hey, we have an issue. And you have to be the one that delivers the answers, you or your team. And that's okay. That's great. That's exactly what you want it to be. But don't forget about the relationship that you build with these people, because clients make referrals. And we all know referrals are the easiest way to make money. And if you build a quality connection with these people and these companies, they're significantly more likely to refer you out. And when you do a great job building that, not overpromising, you do a great job on focusing on the value that you provide and building these relationships, how much easier do you think it would be to just say, hey, Jimmy, I would love some referrals. Do you have anybody that you deal with on a regular basis? We don't provide a competitive advantage. We're not marketing. We're just making sure that companies run effectively. Do you have any friends that you might be able to introduce us to that we could help them with their IT services too? Assuming you love everything that we've done so far. It sounds like you have. I don't want to just, guess, but sounds like you guys have loved everything so far. Do you think you can make a couple referrals for me? They're probably going to say yes. It's a no-brainer. Like, why would they not do that? That's going to be the big difference. And if you're looking for massive ways to get more referrals or how to find referrals from other people, I do have a fantastic, like it's a 1-hour video in my online course. There's a link down below. And last but not least, differentiate yourself. Don't copy what other people are doing. It just doesn't work. There's no bonus or benefit in imitating what somebody else might do. Figure out a way that you can actually differentiate yourself against all of the competition. And that might be niching. That might be super friendly staff, a brand that you care about and everybody in the organization is super proud to represent. I used to wear my old company shirts out everywhere. Every company I've ever worked with, for the most part, I've worked at great companies. My friends would call it the party suit. Oh, you got your party suit on. Because I'd be like, either I'm coming from work. I didn't care to go home and change. Why? Because I loved the company that I was with. And it was a great conversation starter. It was always fun. And nothing I wore ever looked bad. It was just company apparel. Sometimes I wear some of my customers' clothing or my own, old job clothing. It doesn't particularly matter. But build a company that not only you're proud of, but is different than every other MSP on the block. And if you're not sure if you're different, go on Google. MSP near me, IT company near me, and see what they're writing on their website, and see if you can drive past their office, see what their cars look like, see what the kind of people they are. Do a little reconnaissance. You might have to spy a little bit on your competitors, but if they're writing the same thing on their website as you're writing on your website, what differentiates you? There's nothing there. You got to figure out a nice differentiator that is going to set you apart. So when somebody goes, oh, you know what, those guys in blue, they work for that big store. I forget what it's called, right? Obviously, I mentioned Geek Squad. Obviously, we're not Geek Squad, but we all know what they look like. They all drive that specific like little Sprinter van. The truck is blue. They got the blue polos on or the black polos on, depending on who you see and who comes out. Like that's the kind of brand that you should be striving on building over and over and over again. Something that you're proud of and something that your customers will recognize every single day of the week. So I hope this video helps. I hope you guys got some value from those 3 tips, plus that little bonus. And if you guys haven't already, check out those links down below. They are going to be massively beneficial to you guys. And if you've made it this far, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and feel free to share this out. A lot of people are like, oh, I didn't share it out with anybody. Feel free to share it out. It helps me tremendously. It just helps build the channel and fuels my love for doing this because I've weirdly enough found a massive passion. Like I look forward to making these videos every single time. So I really appreciate that. And I love you guys. I'll see you guys later. Best of luck. Bye.